Hello, my name is Father Ryan Quarnstrom. I've been a priest for 2 years, but I'm a son of St. Joseph's Parish in Cottleville, so have grown up in this parish, in this community, and remember very fondly when the Nashville Dominicans arrived at our parish. I was finishing 4th grade. I remember Mother came to visit the final test before they arrived, and then 5th grade, I remember when the 4 Dominicans, those first 4 sisters, came to our school. And I especially remember now as a priest, like those moments we experience where someone walks into a room for better or worse and the whole atmosphere changes, so we all kind of like feel that presence. And I remember the sisters showing up that year, my 5th grade year, and the whole school environment changed around those sisters and around their presence. And day after day I would go to class with these sisters, and I remember thinking, like, are you for real? Like, there's something, just the way they laughed and smiled and the genuineness with which they prayed. I remember even early in the morning sometimes going with Sister Maria Christi to the now Corpus Christi Chapel in the school to pray the rosary in the morning. The faith rallies we had, all these different components that fueled our faith life. And watching the whole school year after year change around the presence of those sisters. But for me, it was something about, the way that they laughed and prayed and their joy that I saw, and I realized, wow, this isn't an act. This is all real. That these sisters, these beautiful women, have met Jesus, and their whole lives have changed around that relationship. And it got me thinking, not explicitly as a young boy, but day after day, it got me thinking, what does this look like for me? Like, how do I find that joy? And how do I laugh like they laugh and pray like they pray and live in the way that they live? And obviously the answer wasn't become a Nashville Dominican, but it was to become a priest also through the example of the many wonderful priests that I had, the different associates and Monsignor Callahan for so many years as I was growing up. And just inspired me to answer that question. What does this look like in my own life? And I realized, it's the pearl of great price, like leaving everything behind and going in search of the one who has called me and made me and wants to give me that same joy and can fulfill me in the same way that he fulfills these sisters. And I especially remember, I always talk about Sister Maria Chaley. When I was in 8th grade, she taught me 8th grade religion, and she had all teachers decorate their classrooms. So on the right side of her whiteboard was this quote that she had up for most of the year from St. Catherine of Siena. Be who God called you to be and you will set the world on fire. And day after day, as middle schoolers are walking into the classroom for religion class, you see that question. Who is God calling me to be? Who did God make me to be? And again, with the witness year after year of those sisters, I realized, wow, there is something burning in me and in my heart when I see these sisters. There's a similar call there that I know the Lord wants me to respond to. Fast forward many, many years later, when I got ordained a priest, now 2 years ago, by Archbishop Rosansky, the sisters, many of them came back to ordination and back to Cottleville into my first Mass, and Sister Maria Chaley actually did one of the readings at my ordination Mass. So when you get ordained at the cathedral, I'm like sitting right inside the altar rail, and so we have this huge high ambo at the cathedral, right? So I hear Sister Maria Chaley's voice, but as I was sitting there getting ready to be ordained, I remember just noticing that voice that taught me all those years ago, that asked that question, who is God calling me to be? Who did God make me to be? The voice that I did these church history projects with and did all these homework assignments for, but that really formed me a lot in the faith. It was that same voice, like right as I'm about to respond in my own way to that call of the Lord, that same voice was there. And so it was really meaningful for me. And throughout all the years, I've just had a really profound relationship with the sisters. In many ways, I'm a priest because of the way that they had formed me and the way that they taught me and the way that they showed me to love and be joyful. And so when I found out that my home parish that I love very much is beginning this campaign, I was very excited about the prospect, obviously, of more sisters, right? More grace, more beautiful habits and prayers, and the way that will continue to impact the culture. But also knowing that vocations too would be affected by that I am definitely a fruit of those first years and their first mission here, and to see that continue to grow throughout the years. After I left 8th grade and entered high school, I stayed active here at St. Joseph's in youth group. And 2 years below me, youth group was a wonderful environment that also nurtured my faith, that the sisters themselves had formed me in a lot of ways and sent me on to high school. But as I was here at Mass still on Sundays and serving and present in youth group, there was a really strong faith group and a beautiful friend group. And from that group, there was a young girl who was 2 years behind me, you may have heard about, who entered the Nashville Dominicans, who's now Sister Kiara Grace. So we were friends in high school. I became a priest, she became a sister. But as I was ordained a deacon, that summer after I was ordained a deacon, I was invited to join them in Nashville for her first vows. And so that was really a beautiful moment. There was a whole caravan of Cottleville folks that went down to Nashville. I was among them deaconing the Mass with the bishop, watching Sister Kiara Grace profess her first vows. And we took a beautiful picture, but it was a beautiful moment. I think everyone there was realizing, wow, we are here today, and this whole trip and this journey to Nashville is a fruit of the Dominicans coming to St. Joe's. That me being a deacon, preparing for ordination to the priesthood, Sister Kiara Grace today professing first vows, and also just a sense that this is really just the beginning of what the Lord wants to do in the hearts of our young people. Myself, praise God, and then also Sister Kiara Grace getting to be providentially some of the first fruits, but there's so many more to come, and that was so clear at her vow ceremony. It was a beautiful time to pray with the sisters and then also see, wow, God's at work here in a powerful way. The convent also isn't like any house in a cul-de-sac, and they live a different kind of life. And their house and the way that it's structured is ordered towards silence and towards prayer and towards community, and also for the Dominicans, especially time of study so that they can fulfill their role as teachers. And we sometimes forget that, I think. And yeah, the sisters need a place that's where they have some privacy and where they have enough silence and solitude really to be able to engage the life of prayer to which they're called. So I'm very excited about the prospect of being able to increase the number of sisters that could be here and that could serve at our parish. I don't know, I just love my home. I love my home parish, and so even though I haven't been here since I entered the seminary, I definitely stay plugged in and hear things from Father Fisher and Father Dieters and Father Martin and from the sisters themselves sometimes, and have seen the community is a different place. It's a different atmosphere than it was when they first came in 5th grade, certainly when I left for seminary and even now. And so I'm proud of my home and proud of the culture and really excited for the good things to come, especially through this capital campaign.